So while learning Java basics and going ahead, we will learn Selenium also. Today's topic is inheritance. Okay. And when we say inheritance, this is, you know, a simple English word which is, implemented, which is implemented in, let's say, in programming also. Okay. And something similar to its original literal meaning. Okay. So what is inheritance? Inheritance means you are inheriting something from your parents or something from what we say ancestors. Okay. Um, whether all the property you are inheriting, whether some of the properties you are inheriting, how it will work, right? That is all about we have to see, right? But it is quite relatable to how we inherit the property from our parent. Okay, so let's understand. I may use paint for this. So for example, there is one parent. Parent will have their own properties, right? So when we say properties, it can be literally the properties, right? Like the land and home or anything, correct? Or the properties which is like human behavior, right? So they may have, let's say, height, right? It's a property of, let's say, a human, correct? And anything related to that, right? Um, let's say voice, something like this. Okay. So this is one parent. I'll say they are P. Okay. Now, child, child, let's say there is a child. Child is basically, when we say in general, child is derived from parent. What we say? Child is derived from parent, correct? There may be more parents also. It's not just one parent. Just a minute. There may be another parent, correct? So this is one more parent. Okay. Same relationship. This one. Let me keep it like this. Okay. That is fine. And there may be multiple child also. There may be multiple child also. We'll talk about how this is possible, not possible. That's a separate topic. As of now, you have to understand about the inheritance part first. Okay. So this is parent who has their own property, height, voice, and all. Then there are child. Child will inherit the properties from parent, and they can have their own properties also. Okay. So let's say they have their own property of uh, something new you can add here about education, let's say, or anything, or literally the property. So for example, let's say the parent has home one, they have home, right? This child will have home two. Let's assume, right? So in that case, the child may have two home. One home from the parent and second home of their own home, right? It is possible. Another possibility is parent will say that no, this home one is my own, right? You may have something related to height, voice, and other things, or some other property, but we will not give home to you, right? It's possible. Same thing happens in the programming. Same thing happens in program also, or through class concept also. So let's make that. Let's make that. And there are other words also for the parent and child. This is called superclass. This is called subclass or derived class. Okay, repeating it. These may be called parent class, superclass. Okay, and this can be called derived class or child class. Okay, this can be called parent class also, and this can be simply child class. Okay, so while making it, let's make the name exactly same as parent. Okay, just for the understanding purpose, you can name anything. I am making it parent class. Okay, fine. In the parent class, let's have some properties. So we will say in simple, I am declaring simple thing as of now, like integer, let's say x and integer y. That's it. We'll understand about other, uh, you know, properties later on. But as of now, we just want to understand the relationship between parent and child. Okay. And here, if I want to print these values, I can print it, correct? So I can call a, I can create a, uh, let's create it quickly and you will be able to understand so that, it will cover all the concepts which we have done already, right? So you can create the constructor that, here I can say integer p comma q int q, and here I can say this dot x is equals to p, and this dot q is this dot y is equals to q. Till this point, anybody has any doubt, let me know, because you don't have to mug anything here. You don't have to, try to remember anything here. This is what we are doing naturally. Whenever you create a class, this will happen. And means at least this is the minimum thing you will make whenever you will create one class and the constructor in Java. New parent, and you will have, let's say, 20 comma 30 you are passing while creating the object, and you can create a function. So I'm creating p1 dot show details, okay, which will display the details of object. So when we create the function here, we just want to do system.out.println, and we'll print x and y value. So we'll say this dot x, print it, plus we are putting one tab, and then again this dot y. That's it. I hope this simple program, everyone understands what we are doing here. Pretty simple program, just 24 lines of code. We have created class where there are two instance variable, okay, or class level variables. Then we have created one constructor constructor will have same name as class name, there we are saying that whenever you will pass the value, it will be set to the class level variables. Then we are creating main function. There we are saying that creating a object of the parent class. While creating it, we are passing the values also, and it will be set for P1. Then we are calling a function called pShowDetail. That will basically show the detail, whatever is the current detail. So if I run this program, it is printing me 20 and 30. Okay. So till now, whatever we have done here is basically like just creating a class, having subclass level variable, one constructor to fill the values of this class level variables, creating the object of parent class, and showing the detail. That's it. This is like this. There is a parent class which has X and Y as the property. Now we will create child class. So when we have child class here, now, as you are saying that this is a child class, right? Whose child? So you have to mention it here that this child is going to extend parent. Okay? What you are mentioning here that this child is going to extend which class? Parent class. Okay. That's perfectly fine. But what it is saying me here that when I'm writing this, it's saying that implicit super constructor parent is undefined for default constructor must define an explicit constructor, right? So it's saying that you add constructor in child class also, but let me make it public. Just a minute. And coming back here, still it is saying that you have, so there is a quick fix available. So if I go here, it is saying that because you have inherited from the parent, right? Because you have inherited from the parent, whenever your object will be created, then you should call first your parent. Okay, don't worry, I'll explain this in a minute. Let's complete a code first. Here, as I said that it can have its own property also. Let's say int z or z. Now, as this is a class, it will have its own constructor also, correct? And forget about this as of now, what we have written here. Let's come to this. Now, if I make the object of child class, what I will write? I will say child C1 is equals to new child. Perfect. I'll say something like this. But it is showing me error. What it is saying that there should be a constructor, right? Child constructor, right? When you are doing it, you should have a constructor, it is saying. Okay. But let's understand that child now have three properties. Child has three properties. Why I'm saying child has three properties? X and Y, which will come from the parent, Okay. And Z, which is its own property. Z, which is its own property. So when you are creating the constructor, you will keep it like int R also, because there are three properties now. And when you are creating the child, pass three values here. Let's say 45, 89, and any new value 33. Okay. While you're doing it, this 45 and 89 will be basically, you want to set some property which has come from the parent. See, when we say properties, it's not about values. If you are thinking about this 20 and 30, it's wrong. It's about this. It's about this. It's about the variable only. It's not about the values. Okay. So when you're saying child C1 is equals to new child, this time you will have here XY will also come. Let me write it here. When you are a child, you will inherit the properties of your parent X and Y, which has come from the parent, and you will have your own property. Let's say Z. It's like this. So while creating the object, you will pass three values. Two values for the parent property, one is your own. So here, while creating the constructor of child, you will have three values here, and you will call super. Super means superclass. It's a keyword which will call the superclass constructor. So it will call this parent constructor, and it will pass, these values for C1. I'll show what I'm saying. Don't worry. Here, if I directly say system.out.println C1.x value, okay, and then let's print one more, which is C1.z. Oh, okay, and y also. And the third value is C1.y, this one. If I do that, there is one issue. If I run this, let's run this program. It is printing me 45890. If you observe this, it is printing me 45, 89, and 0. It is not printing 33, which we are expecting. Because 33, you have not set it. You have set the 45 and 89. You have to set it explicitly here, where I will say this dot Z is equals to R. Now, when we will run this, see, as of now, it is showing me 0, right? But now when I'll run this, it will set the value for child level variable. Okay. This is pretty simple about parent-child relationship. I will give you this code if you want to try at your end quickly.